Hi, everybody. J. Rickard's Winery, and I'm with Rad, Mercury Wines, and we're here with our Brad and Jim dinner. Okay, and we're having a wonderful evening today. So, Brad, it's your turn now.
All right, sounds good, my friend. Welcome, everybody. This is absolutely fantastic. Thank you guys for coming back to another one of our Brad and Jim dinner series. We've got so many great things on the menu for you today. And if it's your first time joining us, a couple of things. If you have questions, we love you to ask questions. So whether it's about cooking or how we presented or about the wine, please let us know on chat and we'll get those questions answered right away. And or if you've got something and you feel like you want to oh my gosh, the sun has just come out. Have you seen that cloud? That cloud just ran by to knock that off. But I think that we've got another cloud coming. JJ will fix it, I'm sure. Sorry about that, guys. But anyway, if you wanted to, if you had a question that you wanted to voice talk about, you can raise your hand and we can unmute you guys and we can answer your question live as well. So chat or voice works great with us. And oh my gosh, it's been a few months since we've done one of our dinner series.
Absolutely.
We got through harvest, we got through the holidays, we actually got through a bottling as well, and here we are, ready to go.
Yeah, and we're
the clouds
came back. Actually, that's it. JJ outside
came back.
passing a towel over the window because
The wind is a little gusty today.
we're in my kitchen. My kitchen is not a studio, and Eliza and I, this is our home. So we are welcoming you guys. And
yes,
cheers,
everybody.
Okay.
I hope everybody has their first wine. I believe we've got the Gewürztraminer open.
We do.
Cheers, Jim. So good to see everybody. And yes, that's what makes these things special, is because we are inviting everybody to come into our homes and actually have dinner with us. And we get to do these amazing food and wine pairings. And today we've got a really, really cool thing that we're doing where we're trying to use just a couple of wines to make it through 3 different courses.
It's a challenge. It's the challenge that we've done. What we came up with is that doing a multi-course dinner is tough. It's tough because you tend to want to have a lot of wines. Well, how can we present some wines whereby we can kind of double dip the wines at least a little bit? And that's the challenge that we had between the two of us.
Yes.
And we've come up with our first course, and our first wine here is this Quartz Demeter. Now, Quartz Demeter is one of what I call the aromatic whites. And the aromatic whites are Quartz Demeter, Riesling, Viognier, and Muscat.
Yes.
Okay. And it's tough because people tend to think of them as being super sweet.
Yes.
Really syrupy. I mean, there are people that think Muscat should be wrapped in a brown paper bag and drank next to a dumpster.
Yes. But they were wrong. You can not only drink it next to a dumpster if you actually make it correctly.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the story. Is if you make it beautiful and reduce that residual sugar, you can Muscat it's such a beautiful
It can. And the same thing with Quartz Demeter. So let's try our first course.
Let's get to eating. That's the whole dang part of this. And so, Jim, what do we have for our first course?
Okay.
What are these fantastic people? I see everybody out there in video land. They've got their food ready to go. What do we got?
These are corn fritters that Eliza made for us today, and we've kind of changed the recipe a little bit. And we need to thank Jacques Papin for these. we were actually, Eliza and I were watching PBS, and thank you, love. Um, and and we were watching, Jacques Pepin, and he prepared these, and we went, ooh, now that is a showstopper. And Eliza added the smoked salmon to it,
Always want to put our twist on things.
and a little creme
Yeah,
fraiche.
please give them her presentation. That's absolutely perfect.
I love it.
I'm diving in.
Okay.
This looks
Yeah.
absolutely fantastic. And I've been watching Jacques on YouTube, and I haven't seen this recipe come across, so I'm a little upset that I missed out on this one. Wow, crunchy. Oh my gosh.
Oh my.
On its own, absolutely spectacular. You have the different textures that you're biting through, the creaminess, the little jazzy eggs on top as our little salty surprises, but the richness of all three put together. I've never had anything quite like this. This is amazing.
Yeah, for me, I really like the sweetness of the corn.
Oh, yeah. All the beautiful, you're 100% correct. I was just being overwhelmed with, there's actually so much flavor here. My brain was going into overload, and I missed out on all that beautiful sweetness, but there's what I think is balancing all of the creaminess and the sharpness of the other flavors.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, the thing about Quartz Demeter, like I said, it's one of the things people think that needs to be sweet, and this is perfectly dry. Everybody out there, you notice how many out there have had our Quartz Demeter before?
I've got a few.
And
Got some. Oh, lots of hands rolling up out there. Awesome.
now, this is a stunning wine, but it's wine that will fool your brain. Yeah, it really does, because you smell it. It smells sweet.
Those beautiful aromatics, the honeysuckle, the jasmine, those wonderful flavors.
Yeah, and it smells sweet, but what it does is trick a part of your brain that deals with sweetness. And it's our primitive brain that when we were hunter gatherers, we'd be out there sniffing around for ripe fruit. And it's the kind of thing, you cut a peach in half and you smell it, right? Smells sweet. How do you know? You haven't tasted it yet.
Right.
Those are the smells that say sweet, sweet, good to eat.
Yeah.
And this Quartz Demeter and how we make it is the answer.
I agree, because a lot of folks that maybe are making maybe not as a high quality Gewürztraminer as this, they'll add the sugar to help out with those sweetness characters. But what Jim's been able to do when he's talking about tricking your brain, there's such a ripe sweetness to the fruit in this wine, and it kind of translates the palate as well. But then as you finish, that it's bone dry and absolutely beautiful. And that's the 60s and 70s Gewürztraminers of the super high sugar are not what this grape was meant to be. This is what I believe grape was meant to be. And I've got to talk about the pairing. So you've got this. So now you have a very dry wine that is now being enhanced, because you do have a little bit of sweetness in the meal here. So you've got that little bit of sweetness. You've got the beautiful cheese. You've got the salmon and that smoky flavor.
And the saltiness, there's a slight saltiness here that comes with the salmon.
And I didn't inspect your recipe before the show. And is there little hints of onion or garlic running around in there somewhere? Oh, and I'll bet you these are your local Jimmy's local chives are on top. That sounds good. Okay, sounds good. I'll try that. All right, people can't hear us as well. We're going to try to get our microphones going. Thank you guys in the background. Thank you for letting us know that you couldn't hear us. And then if the sound is better, please let us know. No, we don't need to finish it with that. But I do know that my mic went down. It's just running around over here, so it might have been mine that I'm dealing with. But holy mackerel, this pairing is absolutely fantastic. And thank you for the chive answer. Oh, and Jim gave me a start of your wild garlic, and it came back this year. Thank you very much. I was very excited.
It does that.
I am so happy.
And it's wild onions actually, and they're they tend to like to grow in really pretty nasty soil, which is why we have them. And it's up
like that too.
Up in the clay soils, up in the Serpentine Ridge, where we get it from. And I've kind of transplanted them down here, and they've naturalized down here. Then I gave you some.
I think it was last year. We were doing one of our episodes, and I'm pretty sure you used the chives again in one of our dinner series. And I was like, wow, those have got this amazing flavor. And so now I've got those too. But I made the mistake of planting them in my garden bed. So I need to throw them in directly into the soil that I've got at my house. They'll do better.
All you need to do is let them bloom.
Okay.
They put that flower out,
and then I'll have them all. All right.
Then you'll have seeds everywhere.
Excellent. All right.
That's what I've done.
I can't wait for this year. That's going to be excellent.
Yeah.
Because wow, that little chive bite in there, I think actually brings the whole thing together. Excellent choice on it. I've never quite had a fritter like this. I know that fritters are probably fritters, but this is.
He calls them corn tempura fritters.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
there's just a half cup of flour and the sparkling water and the baking powder, and it sort of whoosh when you're mixing it up.
So it's not as dense.
Right, exactly. And then you add the corn, and you're thinking a cup of corn, and it just they make wonderful little holders of whatever good things you want to put on it.
Oh, yeah. And I just love that. I love what you did, sweetie pie, with
Salmon first.
With the salmon first.
Yeah.
And it just gives that hint of smokiness and saltiness. That's absolutely lovely.
That is apparently a little bit.
I think so. There you go. Yeah, it does go nicely.
The smokiness, the saltiness, a little bit of saltiness of the salmon. That is just every single bite is absolutely perfect.
Good.
And like we said, like Eliza said earlier, this is the cheapest stuff she could get. So it's not
for the salmon.
For the salmon.
Absolutely. It was inexpensive. It wasn't, Norwegian locks. It was actually New Zealand.
Well, if you are going to
smoked
doll it
salmon.
up with all these other things,
Yeah.
then
It makes a nice base. It's a good quality
it goes.
piece of
It
fish.
shows. It's absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely beautiful. It goes right through.
Yeah.
And every single bit of this rates the whole bite. It is really.
It's a good
That
bite.
is a great piece of food and an excellent pairing, I've got to say.
Excellent. Are we okay, Jake?
Oh,
He's looking.
we're gonna work on some more sound here. Which one of our people needs some sound? We're gonna try to help you guys. So it's me.
It's you, Brad.
You know what? Here's the neat part.
I think
about-
that's a good thing, actually. You
Why
guys.
don't you do the base, and I'll try to get the base. See what's no, just the base on the outside. Yeah, there we go. All right. Guess what, guys? We're winemakers, and sometimes. Oh, it's a good point, right? Can you hear me now? All right.
Does anybody want to hear that?
There you go. There's no battery. Oh my goodness. We'll go. We can fix that.
We need
I
that.
got some. I've got some. Maybe. Or not.
Okay.
I don't know which way to turn that. Can you throw me some batteries?
Yeah.
I don't know which way.
What flavor of batteries do you need?
The
Yeah.
Go
What
ahead
size
and
do you
pop
need?
that.
Threes?
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna be
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that flashed out. I saw it going.
There it is.
There it goes.
There we go.
We'll try one more time. You know, you would think that. All right. So how about that for us, JJ? Do you hear? Do we have good sound? Because if I have to explain
Are you in the right?
those corn
Yes.
fritters, it's all supposed to be on the outside, I
There you go.
believe.
Okay.
Do I
there you
need
go.
to explain those corn fritters one more time? All right, here we go. I'm going to explain the corn fritters one more time. I'm guessing, JJ, that means that they can hear me. Here's the deal. All right, because this is, I hope you all have made these.
Everybody that can hear Brad, hold up your hand.
Brad's back.
Yay,
Okay,
Brad's
I'm
back. Yay.
Usually people don't want that, but now it's a good thing. All right. Here, Jim just,
Everybody that doesn't want to hear Brad, raise your hand.
No. Stop it.
I saw two hands. So sad. No. All right, here we go. I was just really complimenting this amazing food that we have. Jim's wine is absolutely fantastic. This food really brings into, there's so much flavor and complexity. That's why I believe that food and wine are such amazing things. So you've got the beautiful sweetness of the corn is what I was talking about. That's in this tempura fritter, which is obviously a high level. It's been smashed out. And then what Liza was saying is that we've added the soda water and we've livened this thing up. So it's not quite as dense as, you know, the fritter we might have gotten at, you know, the Roadhouse. And then that beautiful smoky salmon is adding another complexity. The creme, the
Creme fraiche.
the creme fraiche doing its thing, and then a little bit more of the salty bits on top. And then Jim's amazing wild onion chives. I'm a flavor person. These flavors, to me, I certainly hope for you guys as well. Let us know, please. Oh, that's another thing. Let us know if you're enjoying it as much as I am. This is the first time they've ever let me have this, so apparently I don't get invited to their upper crust parties. I don't get fancy things like this usually. Oh, I know. Well, I see that. Jim, we live close enough to where I can see the line of cars going to your place, and the party lights are on, and I missed my invite.
No. What it is, it's our fabulous staff. They are all exceptional cooks. From Blaine, from Blaine, really?
Yeah.
Oh goodness. From Blaine through Ozzy, through Kathleen is a baker, Christine's a baker, Christina, I mean, cooking for hundreds of people. I mean, that is an art form.
It really is.
And trying to keep up with them. And I try a few little things and they go, oh yeah, that tastes pretty good.
And Tara's.
Yeah. Oh, Tara is
God.
incredible.
What
And Maggie
what
and
was
her
that thing?
cheesecakes.
Gosh, there was okay. So I roll in one day.
Okay,
maybe
I'm going to
Casey
get second
comes up.
course going.
All right, thank you,
Okay,
thank you.
all
Oh,
right.
we do need to start going, but we did have a little technical difficulties
yeah.
there. But thank you guys for hanging with us. Thank you for letting us know when we're having those technical difficulties. And I think while we were having the technical difficulties, I asked if you had any questions about the production or Jim's fantastic wild onions or whatever it is. Please let us know, and we would love to answer those. But gosh darn it, this is a flavor. I've been blessed to have enjoyed many appetizers from in France or in Italy or Spain or here in the United States or different places. I've never had one that was quite so complex and so inviting as well. And the pairing is perfect. So I certainly hope you guys are enjoying it as well. And fritters I've usually had fritters like in a ball before. Is that usually where they come?
One of the things that kind of
The flattened fritter is the flattened fritter. I think it's like
I tend to not like fritters, and I tend to not like fritters
me too.
because they're greasy.
I know.
You know?
This is beautiful.
Yeah.
And the tempura, I guess that lighter batter, the whole 9 yards.
Correct.
This is absolutely fantastic.
Well, I think it's a wonderful job. Once you take them out, you put them on a thing to soak up whatever oil is there. Yeah, but this is not greasy.
I'm sorry. I'm still eating and enjoying it. I am not going to let this thing
No,
go.
don't waste it.
I'm taking your plate away.
Absolutely fantastic. I hope you guys have never had flavors. Well, I don't hope you have. I really hope that everybody made this and are enjoying these really interesting flavors together. It is just fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well worth it. And next time anybody here who comes to visit, ask me about where the wild onions are. If they're around. And if they're
Your phone
in
fell.
season, drop it.
That's how he got me hooked. And he might even send me home with some. He's got so much out there. All right. So what do we have next? Oh, I better get this out of my glasses.
No, no, no. I've got a new glass.
Oh, new glasses. Oh, good. Because we're supposed to try to save some of this wine for later. Is that
Absolutely. Save the
is
little
that the
glass.
concept?
Absolutely.
That's the concept. We're gonna have the same
It
wine
wasn't working.
again.
It wasn't
with
working good
dessert.
for me.
Huh?
I was-
There you go.
I forgot.
Just push it aside.
All right, we'll put this one over here, and we'll have that for later.
There you go. All right.
Oh my.
And wow, the aromatic.
Okay, now
Where's
here's the
some of
deal,
this?
is that Eliza and I came up with an idea that needed to kind of challenge the norm. Okay, and we were talking about earlier how grew up in an era that it said you had white meat, you had white wine, red meat, you had red wine, and that's not really true. And what's not really true about it is that pairing is about pairing the qualities of the wine with the food itself. And what Eliza's come up here with is shrimp scampi with our creamy polenta. And the deal here was, well, we're pairing it with our GSM. And our GSM is Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvedre. And it has a nice acidity, I think, that comes across nicely with this. And again, this is just amazing. This is 2008 GSM, and it was a gold medal winner last year at the Harvest Fair. And oh my,
I'm really excited about this. I hope you guys are enjoying this with us as well. The aromatics that I'm getting out of this. So right away, I'm just smelling this beautiful dish, and there's so much richness and flavor coming up. So that tells you that with all that richness, you're going to need a wine that can sort of help stand up to this. There might not be a white wine that can stand up to this, but let's do the red.
I don't know that to be true also, but I do know that this wine does.
Let's check it out. Okay.
Sorry. Lots of kitchen noises.
Oh my. Home run, sweetie pie.
Yeah.
Yay.
Absolutely delicious. I'm going to go back in and get a little shrimp with it so I can have that as a tasting as well. It absolutely works for me. And so when I talk about food and wine pairings, when I'm thinking about what wine may or may not go with this or that, wine pairings are basically boiling down to fats, how much fat is in your dish, and acids and tannins, and how much acid and tannin is in your wine. Of course, there'll be acids in your dish as well. So if you have a highly acidic dish, that can absolutely make if those other sounds you're hearing, of course, JJ and everybody else gets to have a little sample of that because this is absolutely delicious. I hope you guys is as good. But so when you're thinking about food and wine pairings, think about fats, richness. How rich is the dish? How bright and lively? If it's bright and lively and it's not rich, that means that it has a high acid. So do you want to pair it with a wine that has high acid as well, or do you want to have a wine that has a little bit lower acid, or what type of fruit do you want to go along with it? Am I out of line on that? I
No.
think that's how when I think about wine and food pairings. So to me, all these rich, wonderful flavors were coming up. I was like, yes, this absolutely can deserve
When
this.
we're building this wine, and I talk about,
Oh,
Julie is asking, how do you know what wine will appear in the menu, or if featuring a wine, what?
oh, that's a tough question, Julie.
there we go. Julie's
Uh,
question was, if you're featuring a wine, what food should you pair with it? And then if you're featuring a food, vice versa, which wine should you go along? And I think Jim's going to handle this one mainly, but definitely dealing with the acids and tannins of a wine versus the acids or fats in the food is definitely the first place to start. Well, no, the first place to start is you have a beautiful wine that you love, and you're going to love it pretty much no matter what. And then if you can enhance it, you can go from there. But what is your thoughts
Okay.
on that?
Okay, here's the deal,
Now I get to
is that I work in a different environment mentally as far as wine goes. And I tend to divide up the world of wine into not red and white, but tannin-driven wine and fruit-driven wine. Okay, this is an important take-home message here, because it's my clock going off, not my songbird in the background.
Oh, he's got songbirds.
Yeah. Anyways, so I divide it up, and you think about the classic tannin-driven wine, Cabernet.
Yes.
Our descriptives that we use for that are always about the body, the tannin, the structure, never too much about the fruit. The fruit has to be there in order to balance the wine. Well, the classic fruit-driven wine, on the other hand, is Pinot Noir for the same reasons. When we're talking about Pinot Noir, we're talking about complexities of the fruit and never much about the tannin, because it doesn't have a lot of structure to it. Well, what balances the wine in Pinot Noir is the acidity, isn't
Mm-hmm.
it? But the acidity has to taste like something.
Yes.
It's got to taste like sour cherries or you know um, um, other really tart kind of foods, like the Sauvignon Blanc has got to have citrus flavors, or kind of taste like grapefruit or whatever. But it has to taste like something in order to balance the wine. Now, here's the complex part of that, is that once I know what group the wine is in, I know precisely what to pair it with. If it's a tannin driven, I'm going to go with protein,
Mm-hmm.
meats, these kind of things. If it's a fruit driven, I'm going to go to rich. In other words, your fatty component,
Right. Mm-hmm.
or just your component of carbohydrates, that rich lushness of like a pasta or
Yes.
that kind of thing. And because you need the acidity of the wine to refresh your palate.
Yes.
Okay, that's kind of how I see it. Well, Julie, when you're thinking about this GSM, how we built the wine, we built it as a base of Grenache. And everyone knows out there that we do drop dead good Grenache, red Grenache. And well, what's Grenache? Grenache is a fruit-driven red. It's got nice acidity,
Mm-hmm.
great upfront, cranberry kind of, fruit quality to it. Well, if we follow the process of the lower Rhone varietal
Mhm.
process, is that what you want to do is you want to extend the mint palate a little bit, not make it into a tannin driven
No.
with Syrah, but add a little nuance to it. And that's what we did.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And then the little Mourvedre, that little splash of Mourvedre running around in there. sort of acting like a Petit Verdot or something with a more tannin-driven wine. But this is obviously definitely in the background with that. And so, absolutely, and there's also no. This is the other thing is that here's the neat thing about food and wine pairings is that you should try them every night, and you should see if your spaghetti and meatballs pairs nicely with your Zinfandel, or does it pair nicely with your cab? And then your palate will sort of give you the judge. I would, if it's a little fancy pizza from here in the valley, I really think that my Zinfandel is going to be quite nice with it. But depending on the pizza, it might end up being a cab where it has a little more tannin driven, a little less fruit. But if I'm having pizza, I'm looking for a little more fun and not really, thinking too hard about the
thing
wine.
is that even pizza though is really a carbohydrate driven.
Yep.
You have the ability of breads. You have that all those kind of flavors around that. You got the richness of sauces and so forth,
Or the earthiness of a mushroom, or the spiciness of a sausage.
Yeah, but you need that. I mean, that again, getting back to that same concept is that once you need to taste the wine, Julie, unfortunately, to really kind of figure that one out. Or, you guys have been to our house before and you kind of know the direction we want to do.
I just want to hear that those shrimp are outstanding.
Those shrimp are outstanding. My microphone wasn't working when I said that. They are absolutely fantastic. And getting back to the beginning, here we have, something out of the ocean that is pairing beautifully with this red wine. He's doing a Rhone style GSM blend. So it's a little bit higher acidity,
A lower Rhone.
a lower Rhone, especially down in the south, and where you're going to be more Grenache versus Syrah for sure. Northern Rhone, all Syrah. The mid Rhone, you might pick up a little Mourvedre. Southern Rhone, all Grenache. And so you've got that sharper brightness of fruit that's just pairing so fantastically with this.
Julie, did I answer your question?
I hope so. Because we spent 15 minutes on it. I hope we got there.
Well, that's the thing. You have to realize Jim's rule number 3 of wine tasting is you never ask Jim a question unless you're expecting a 20-minute answer.
Man,
And
we have a thumbs up.
Most guys out there know that.
Yes. That's why Jim and I can spend 5 minutes together, and next thing we know, it's 5 hours because we'll both go down those fantastic rabbit holes.
And
that was a great question.
And that I gotta say that shrimp is amazing. By the way, this was cheapo shrimp on sale.
Really?
2 for
It
1.
didn't taste like 2 for 1
Frozen,
shrimp to me. This
Yeah.
tasted like high quality shrimp that was cooked perfectly. And I'll be honest, the tenderness, seriously, I'm not no joke.
And
The shrimp cooking
just
was perfect.
I did reheat.
What?
Yeah. So it wasn't instantaneous,
All right.
flash cooking.
That
So-
was absolutely
So
fantastic.
it does hold up to a little reheating.
And by the way,
Yeah, the Polenta is okay too.
I'm just a little disappointed
What's that?
that the shrimp tails were removed.
I know, honey.
Mm.
No, they're still there. I just took the little peels off them.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
You wanted a little crunchier?
As a child.
When I was a child, growing up in San Francisco,
I know.
I would go at the the Fisherman's Wharf, and I wasn't going to pay 50 cents a shrimp, if I couldn't eat all of it. And so,
Okay.
I
was wondering where we were going.
I eat the tails
Okay.
of all shrimp.
But
It's part of the flavor.
as somebody that's been in the medical profession, isn't there some good iodine that we could use
That
or
probably-
something from those
yeah.
shells? And
Indeed.
is that why you look like a flamingo? Isn't that where they get their beautiful pink hue? So do you just crunch them down, or do you saute them first?
I crunch them down.
Okay.
And actually, we've used the shells of shrimp.
Mhm.
It makes an amazing sauce. You boil them down.
I have had just a shrimp shell
You're
sauce.
You're
Mhm.
making a shrimp shell broth.
Yes, because they're all
Yeah.
those
You
wonderful
need a little
ocean,
other broth, like clam juice or something
Mhm.
like that, to help them kind of express themselves.
but it brings out those really ocean air qualities, the minerality.
I use chicken stock in
Okay.
the polenta. Or you can make a fish stock too. So
Out of the shells, which
Yeah.
Okay.
we've done before.
Yeah.
Then this
Now
is
I
good.
know where to bring my shells
sure.
when I'm
Throw them in the freezer.
when I'm done. I'll throw them in the freezer. First, I'll bring my shells. No, I've actually one of my little YouTube chefs was doing that with the shells and bringing out all sorts of great flavor. But again, I've just got to get back to the. Here's a perfect. This is a perfect example
Yeah.
of where you put a little twist on things where you wouldn't expect that a shrimp dish can go so perfectly with a red, and I think it absolutely does.
Oh yeah. The GSM again is a blended wine we put together. Blaine and I put it together, and you know, it's right on.
It's perfect.
It adds the nice acidity is really good as a crossover. For you guys out there that like red wines, man, this is the wine that you'd want as a crossover.
Absolutely, but also what I really love about this wine is that it's fantastic with the food, but I just
Really enjoy this wine on its own as well, but is a perfect, just like a classic. Honestly, if I was thinking about Rhone varietals and ordering a Chateauneuf de Pop or a Gouges d'As or something from the Rhone, I think this is the perfect pairing, and I think this is probably what you would get over there as well. I don't think they would pair it with something more intense.
No, I don't. I think that in the Rhone region, they do with thicker stuff.
Yep.
Excuse me. And
right.
these kind of
The cassoulet
Cassoulet,
and stuff like that. Again, because that's the polenta is really working like the cassoulet, right? So you've got all that richness in all.
That are going absolutely fantastic. And so it's cutting right through that for me is what I think I'm trying to say
Yep.
without all the tannins. So you don't need a heavy Cabernet or something to cut through the tannins or a Sauvignon Blanc. I don't know. It could probably cut through because it's got some high acid. I would do a very young Sauvignon Blanc with this if I was going to do a white pairing, but I don't think I would ever, and plus,
Or
I've got those recipes from online. Yeah, but I've got this recipe and I will be making this. And I think I will just pair this with a red. I'm really, really enjoying this. This is great.
I think some of the reds that you do.
There's a couple of reds, or even my my Rogue Beaujolais. my Rogue Beaujolais might because it's got more acidity in some, but not as much red wine flavor as this. So it could get in there. But man, he did finish his plate. And I didn't.
Okay.
One more little scoop before we're done. It's I was talking too much during that one. Thank you so much. That was absolutely beautiful. The richness, the shrimpy flavors.
Now, any questions out there, anybody?
Besides, does Brad have any batteries in his microphone?
I think you're good.
All right, we're looking pretty good. All right, so we're coming back to we're swinging back around.
Yeah,
We're kind of finishing. Get those
We're getting rid of those reds.
Red wine glasses.
And I've got just enough words to cleanse
no,
my
you got
palate.
plenty right
Oh no, there we go.
plenty right here.
There
Absolutely.
it is.
So the lemon ricotta cake.
Mm.
Simple recipe.
Yeah.
Because again, taking a shortcut using a box of Betty Crocker's Best White Cake Mix.
I wouldn't call it a shortcut. I like to call that semi-homemade.
Yeah,
When we don't have quite enough time to do all
it's
of the things.
what we called it was home baked.
There you go. Home, exactly. We have a beautiful home baked dessert coming up. And that'll be, well,
Again, the focus tonight was trying to make a really great meal based with a lot of stuff that is not typically out there.
no, it's not typically out there. And to
there's-
be able to have,
I should say that's not typically out there, but typically used for fine, food.
fine wine pairings,
Yeah.
as if we were over in that fancy French area that we were talking about earlier. But, and also being able to have two wines to take you through an entire meal.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if we're going to spend the time cooking a beautiful 3-course meal like this, we do want to have a beautiful wine that pairs up with it. But maybe it isn't a Saturday night. You want to do this on a Wednesday or Thursday because you have friends coming over, but you don't, because it is a Wednesday, you don't want to open up 6 different bottles of wine. Here's our opportunity to have 2 bottles of wine over a 3-course meal.
That's
and
the challenge.
everything, and that's the challenge. Well, so far, here's the deal, and I can smell lemons already coming up. It's gonna, I already know this is gonna be a fantastic pairing. Last one was the one that was the wild card. It was great. Tell us about this cake. What's happening here?
It is the richness of the ricotta and the heavy cream and 4 eggs
Okay.
with a box mix and lots of lemon extract. And then the glaze is just your powdered sugar, lemon juice, and lemon zest. Simple, simple.
That sounds perfect to
It's
me.
just simple, simple.
My favorite desserts are lemon. As a matter of fact, we're gonna
You're
enjoy
gonna
it.
do
We're gonna
lemon?
enjoy a lemon dessert in just a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
It is absolutely my favorite dessert flavor.
Well, the thing about lemons is that you have a lemon tree, and there's almost 3 known recipes to deal with lemons, and they require half a lemon. What do you do with all the rest of them?
Make this and then make
Juice
some
'em.
more. Make and
Juice 'em.
actually juice them and then make more.
Freeze it.
Now, okay. Now, my mom, I used to put them in our because after we moved from an ice box, where we had to put the water in, and then we got one of those refrigerators that made ice for us. Then we had those little ice cube trays, and so she would take all of our lemons from our lemon tree and then squeeze them and put them in those little
Ice cube trays.
ice cube trays.
Mhm.
And then pull them out and put them in a freezer bag, so we would have technically fresh lemon juice all year long. So that's how we handled it over at the Beard family residence. But what she didn't do, sorry, Mom, if you're watching, she didn't zest anything. So if we had those, she would still have to go get a lemon so we could zest it, because most of our lemon recipes have that zest in here. And all right, I've just got to, first of all, before I even try it with the Gewürztraminer, I need to talk about the balance of this dessert. The fact that there's beautiful, rich characters to it. The sweetness is moderate, I would say at best.
The
But
icing is
but
the sweet.
Flavor
Yeah.
is just ongoing, and there's just flavor after flavor. All of them absolutely beautiful. Okay, next time you guys come over, I'll try to recreate this entire meal because this is absolutely beautiful, and I can see this cake running all through summer.
Mhm.
Because I love lemon desserts during summer, but I get tired of my frozen lemon. All right, I eat it all the time, but my frozen lemon dessert that's coming up next, this would be a perfect substitute for it. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, all right, what was happening on the appetizer is completely changed this one.
Absolutely.
This beautiful zesty lemon and that creaminess of the ricotta tell me if I'm wrong out there, guys, has brought out the lemon essence in this one, where before it was more the honeysuckles and jasmine and maybe some pear, but I'm getting beautiful lemony notes, but balanced by the complexity of the Gewürztraminer. So the Gewürztraminer, typically, if you want lemon, it needs to be a Sauvignon Blanc or something along those lines. But you're not going to get a rich character with that lemon on a
It's really
Sauvignon
kind
Blanc.
of weird.
But this has
It's
got
got
some.
leaner. It's got leaner.
It
and
did.
warmer, and
It
more,
totally
yeah.
that rich the classic Gewürztraminer mid-rich palette is now pulled up and gotten brighter, and this is what's great about food pairings, right? Wine and food. Okay, the wine was fantastic on its own. It was great. It was really beautiful with the first one. We liked that a lot. Now here we have this, and we've taken this wine is actually on a whole nother level as well.
Yeah, this is. I did
Bright lemon zest right on the front of my tongue. It's really enhancing all those lemon flavors on there. Wow.
Yeah,
All right.
and the frosting
Oh
on
man,
there.
I don't know if we're going to have all this kind of excitement in 2 weeks over at my place.
Oh, come on.
I really hope that I can do this. I can replicate this. You set a high bar here. This meal and this food and wine pairing has been absolutely fantastic, and I really do thank you guys for it, because this is beautiful.
Yeah.
I've got 3 new recipes that are going to be in my repertoire. If you don't think I'm going to be throwing those fritters out like left and right over at my place, pretending it's mine, I'll give Jacques and you a little nod. And
Yeah.
then this cake is fantastic. This cake is, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The actually, all right, the density
Yeah.
the density of the cake is actually perfect. It stays together just enough so it's not crumbly, but it's not so dense that it's really heavy on the palate.
Correct, and that's the thing is it's just a wonderful weight
Mm.
on the mouth.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. We're getting all sorts of crazy. The weather and the sun is coming through. Oh, look at the clouds.
Over the back out, over the window there.
Oh my gosh. But seriously, Jim, seriously.
Yeah.
You guys outdid yourselves. Thank you so much.
Oh,
for
you're very
producing
welcome.
Now
Such a
the thing
beautiful
is that you mentioned your house next,
Yes.
April 3rd.
So we're April 3rd. We'll be over at my house. We'll be enjoying a fine meal of my idea. And okay, I call them quickie ribs, but they're not. But they're just easier because you're going to be doing them in the oven. We are going to finish with a lemon dessert, and that's going to be fantastic. But we do have a couple of other things we need to wrap up really quickly. If you're enjoying this, and Jim and I started this little Brad and Jim dinner series because of COVID. You couldn't come and visit us, and we couldn't to tell you or describe to you all these fantastic food and wine pairings that we make at our own homes. And so that was the impetus for us to come to you via Zoom and enjoying this. But now that we and the rest of the world is opening up a little bit, of course, we're still incredibly safe. We do all of our tastings still outside just because it's beautiful and everything's
And
fantastic
why
out
not?
here.
That's
And
the
why
one
not?
thing I've really learned, and that is that there's always a take-home thing. Is that we used to do all our tasting in the winery, in the wine room itself, and holy mackerel, we've expanded outside, as like you guys did, and it's like, okay, you're in God's country, and you're really in God's country, and
Yes.
that's really the right answer.
And
So
it is, and so we were all indoor tastings. The only time you would be outdoors with me if you were at one of my larger events, or if we had one of the Wine Road events where we needed to accommodate a
Yeah.
whole lot of people. We've been doing our tastings outside now for, well, I guess, off and on for the last 2 years. People love it. I hope you guys, if you come to visit us, I hope you're loving it as well. I know I enjoy it much more outside, and I'm going to continue with it. I know you're continuing with
yeah.
it. But now that it is a bit easier for folks to travel and stuff like that, one thing I wanted to talk about is that the Left Bank event is coming up, and I believe that's on August 20th. We have our big, it's our premier event. our premier left bank event out here. So if all of you folks from all across the country have been thinking about coming out, but if you want to come out, well, we actually have an event so you can try some of our, because we're always going to do food and wine pairings.
Yes, we are.
So if you wanted to try some of our food and wine pairings in person, that's fantastic. The tickets are not on sale yet. They will sell out, but all of you are on our
And
email
actually,
list.
one of the interesting thing is that, um, Brad was kind of putting the spurs to me earlier about,
What have I done?
about doing some special events
Mhm.
only for our groups of people,
For folks like you.
reserve events. And so we need to cogitate on that a bit, but that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, so for folks like you guys that really enjoy these food and wine pairings that we're doing, I was just okay. I was planting seeds with Jim so we can do more crazy things. And the crazy thing that I would like to do, and we'll work on this, is that maybe we could have a few of you folks join us personally, and we can talk about food and wine pairings in person and actually have them, and maybe
Or have a dinner with Brad and Jim.
in live in
Yeah,
person. Well,
live.
actually, let us know in chat. Would you like to actually enjoy the same food that we're enjoying now? And you would love to come out and visit us, and we would put the dinner together, and we can actually talk about these things in person. So let us know if you would like to do that. I would sure love to do it because I love interacting with you guys, and Jim and I love it when you guys ask us questions that we just get to talk for hours. And then we're also getting we're getting some thumbs up in the chat and some thumbs up on the web. So
Okay.
yes. All right. Jim and I, we've got so many things up our sleeve, including wine things. We've got that. One other quickie thing. Most of you folks are from all around the country. We do have the mini left bank tax relief that's coming up.
Yep.
So if you are within a few hours reach of us, there's a few tickets left for that. But our premier event's the one in August, and you guys are our premier fantastic. Thank you guys so much for supporting us. We really do appreciate it. And Jim and I and Eliza and JJ and everybody, we love doing this. And so we really, I hope you guys are having a great time.
And
as
by the
well.
way, I have to thank JJ back there. JJ, take the thumbs up.
Despite that
Ah.
horrific problem with our sound today. Sorry, no, JJ's now mortified and wants to kill me. Sorry, just kidding. I'm sure it had nothing to do with
It's not,
the person.
not technical, nothing. It's you. You know?
It was me. It's my magnetic personality.
Exactly.
It
It hates
hates computers.
Ethernet.
It does.
Okay.
Hates anything to do with electronics.
Okay.
Yes.
So thank you, JJ. And we have a new person on the computer.
That's right.
Kathleen.
Everybody hasn't met Kathleen yet. So Kathleen was chatting with you guys. That's absolutely fantastic. She was answering your questions and relaying them to us. So we do have all sorts of new great folks that are working
Okay.
with us.
Any questions out there, anybody?
Any last ones?
Comments?
All right. I don't
Oh
see.
my
I don't.
gosh.
With the we
I-
can see a few no thumbs. All right.
A second. They have.
We'll give them a second. Oh, I've just been informed that we're on a delay because you never know what Jim's going to say. So
I thought you were the
I
person.
know, I was kidding. That was for me. The dumb button's for me. So we are at a smidgen of a delay just in case Brad gets crazy. Oh my gosh. You know what? While we're waiting for those, I'm going to dive into this. And actually, you know what? One last thing. I'm going to say one last thing.
Well, good.
Your browning to icing coverage, spectacular. Just
I'm
perfectly.
I'm-
I know you can see this.
I'm not the baker in
But-
the company.
but-
I
but
never
you-
try to do side
But
icing.
no, the top icing, the brown, the icing level,
It was
absolutely perfect. To
And-
me, it's
and it
perfect.
fell about half of what it had
Did it?
risen to, and I went, oh, but actually,
It's still light
nice
and
and
fluffy.
moist.
No,
Yeah,
it's moist.
it's moist.
I actually, not knowing that, see how live this is. I didn't even know she had that going. I felt that
Cake
the actual
hangs.
the texture was perfect.
Good. Good.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
And your lemon ratio and the icing.
Yeah.
Spectacular. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
This was another beautiful meal.
That'll make another one.
There it is. One more cake ready to go.
Okay.
And how
I
many
don't know.
lemons to a lemon tree?
70 to
1,000.
100. They are so fantastic. Oh my gosh, guys, this has been great. So glad that everybody's back with us. This has been
Yeah.
awesome. I truly hope everybody enjoyed their dinner and had some fun with Jim and I, because I know I certainly did. Thank you, Jim. This has
Okay.
been another beautiful day.
And we'll see some of you
Couple weeks,
in a couple
week and a
weeks,
half,
maybe.
something
Most
like
of you.
that.
All of you.
All of you better be here in a week.
That's right.
All
More
right.
2
than that.
weeks.
And then maybe we'll see you in August. Okay, guys?
Absolutely.
Take care. Cheers.